Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Buckeye Roast here with my guy, Big Chris Drew. Big thank you for filling in for Q today. How you doing,
Sure.
Chris?
Good, living the dream, brother.
Absolutely. The dream has always been to wake up 3 hours before work. But we are here, man. It is almost Notre Dame week. I did the Fans Edge last night, my first time pulling up. So if you guys missed that, it is the last video on the channel right now. We were live last night with I was live with Mike and Disney. We talked all kinds of things college football, man. So make sure you check that out, man. There's just so much going on. I was talking to Mike last night on the show. I was like, man, this week is going so slow. Like, the game can't get here fast enough. It feels like we're
Mhm.
pumping out content on the daily, but it's like we're just in this spin cycle waiting for the game to finally get here.
Yeah, that's what this has been. This has been a really, really slow week, bro. Like a real slow week. And of course, it's like the first week that Ohio State has a real test. So it's like, geez, can we just get here and get the
Absolutely.
anxiety out the way, get the win, and feel good about the team? Like I'm ready to to get to the win and then to start lying about the team again, as opposed to like being rational.
Absolutely. I mean, the Notre Dame fans, man, are getting louder by the day too, which is like
Hmm.
good for them that it's been like a slow week because like their season ends after Saturday. So like it's good that they're getting all of this energy out and all of this nonsense that they have
Yeah.
to say because
At least they've been
man,
allowed to enjoy the first couple weeks of college football because last year just happened so quick. It was like boom, Buckeyes got him, and then Marshall got him, and then and then it was just like okay, like this shit's dead and gone.
well, they had their Clemson win, but we saw what that Clemson team ended up being.
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame was last year's ACC champion. They beat North Carolina and Clemson.
Exactly, just like Penn State was the Pac-12 champion last
Yeah.
year.
Pac-12 champion Penn State.
Oh man, you gotta love it. We joked on the timeline that Penn State ended the Pac-12 last year after a Big Ten team won it. They're like, all right, we got to get a parts of the Big Ten.
Yeah. We're headed your way.
So yesterday, we talked a lot about the defense and how they match up and will they match up against Sam Hartman. So today, I wanted to switch over to the offense, and I mean, everybody in the chat saw the graphic. It's can Kyle McCord outduel Sam Hartman? So I guess we'll just dive right in there before we even get into the show notes. Do you think that Kyle McCord has the talent and weapons around him to be able to, if he has to, outduel Sam Hartman if this turns into a shootout?
I, I think so. I don't think this game will become a shootout, but I think that Kyle does have the weapons if it does become a shootout. And honestly, like a shootout might be the best thing for Kyle McCord, like in his personal development, because that'll force Ryan Day to open it up a little bit, and he'll have to go out there and try to keep up rather than just like be extra safe with the ball, which is what we've seen here the first couple weeks of the season. It feels like.
Yeah, so I'm super interested to see how Ryan Day calls the game, and that takes us right into our first topic. And I wanted to ask you, how balanced do you think this offense will look? Do you think that we're going to see Kyle sling it around? Do you think they're going to try to ground and pound? Like, do you think Ryan Day has a game plan schemed up that he's been hiding from everyone, and we're going to see Kyle McCord come out and play like we've seen 2 years of CJ of just chucking it around? Or do you think that we will see the image that Ryan Day has for this offense with Kyle McCord as the quarterback?
Oh, I think it might be a blend of both, unless that's a little bit of a cop out answer. I think when they called the games for CJ was so good at ball placement that that first read was always open if you wanted it to be open, and if the first read wasn't open, you're looking over to Mecca, and that read's definitely open. So CJ really challenged himself and throwing in some really tight windows. I don't think Kyle is that kind of quarterback. We did hear that his personality was like if it's down the field, he'll take a shot. But it doesn't feel like that has been the case here recently. I think maybe there's a little bit of tightness there coming from Ryan Day because Ryan Day is like deathly afraid to turn the ball over. But I do think the game plan will be opened up a lot. I think it'll be a lot of like rollout throws that we saw Kyle do kind of every time he got in the game recently. But I do think it'll be a balanced game. I don't think it'll be some crazy opened up offense, but I do think it'll be an offense that he knows they'll have to be a little bit more aggressive earlier rather than just kind of waiting and hoping something pops.
So if all things go according to plan and Ryan Day gets to execute the game plan that he has drawn up for this game, what do you think the pass run splits are going to be? Like how pass heavy do you think this game is or plans to be going into it uh without Notre Dame changing the game plan at all? If they're able to go in there and execute what they have on paper, what do you think that looks like?
I think it's going to be I think Ryan Day wants an ideal 50-50 split. Like I think he like as an NFL guy, you always want to be down the middle that way you're not super predictable. I think it'll be 50-50 and I think the fact that Chip is a fullback slash running back means that they can execute the 50-50 split and then they're going to throw something to him, Ron. I'm telling you, bro. They're going to throw something goofy to him as at a fullback. They're going to like roll everybody out, a clear out and he's going to slip out of the back and it's going to be like one of those little throwbacks to the fullback. But I do think it'll be a clean split though, if it's up to Ryan Day.
Before we keep going here, man, I completely forgot to give a shout out to our guy Charles, who was first in the chat. So big shout out to him. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you, Morning Gang, for pulling up here. Big game week, so we appreciate you guys tuning in. So you talked about it being a 50-50 split. I know something that we've talked about. I don't know if it was off air or on a different episode. I feel like we talk so much anymore. I can't keep track.
Yeah,
But
we talk so much on the phone, just like all the time.
We talked about how the lineups are going to start shortening. Like we're going to see less rotation. Guys who have solidified their position are going to lock that down, and we're going to see less rotation as these games become more meaningful. What do you think that means for the backfield? How many backs do you think we see against Notre Dame on Saturday?
Bro, it's like in the NBA, when all regular season everyone has that favorite like seventh man off the bench that's getting buckets, and it's like, yeah, when we get to the playoffs, he's going to be a big piece of it, and then you get to the playoffs, and that man never sniffs the court. Like, nah, big dog. Like he goes to check in, it's like, nah, big dog, you're not going in, you're not playing. The rotation's going to tighten up, bro. It's been crazy though because like honestly, bro, I think Mayan Williams is the odd man out. Like I don't think he'll play at all on Saturday, and it feels weird to say because he was like a guy that was lead back last year for Ohio State when he was healthy. But bro, I think he is the odd man out. This is the Trey and Chip show moving forward. So I think that's going to be the rotation tightening up, at least in the running back room. I'm curious to see how those splits go because I know they love Trey, but I'm wondering like if Trey is off track maybe once or twice, how quickly they will go to Chip just to keep the offense on schedule. Because I think under Kyle McCord, especially with Ryan Day calling the plays, I think one of the things that's going to become really, really important is staying on schedule, making sure you get 4 yards on first down, 4 yards on second down, so that every third down is manageable. And if Trey starts to get like the happy feet, I want to bounce everything, I'm curious how short his leash is because, again, the number one thing with this Ryan Day offense, especially if you want to be 50-50 split pass run, is being on schedule.
Coming into this season, it seemed like Mayan Williams, I mean, we saw him in a lot of preseason rankings as a top 50 player in college football, one of the top backs in college football in
Right.
the rankings. How much do you think this year, if the rotation stays the way it is going to hurt his stock? Like, do you think he's going to be able to find his way into the league with the lack of touches he's receiving this year? Or do you think that
He's not a draft pick right now. There's no way. There's no way. No, I mean, I don't know a team that'll take a flyer on a kid that'll probably run like a 4.8 that doesn't have the production that hit before he's draft eligible, right?
yeah.
Like there's no way.
So, what do you think the next steps would be for Mayan after the season?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, to me at least, he feels I hate doing this. To me, though, he feels like a guy that is who the portal is built for. Like that is who the portal is built for. You gave 2 good years, 3 good years to Ohio State. You got passed up by some younger guys. You had some physical limitations. Go somewhere where you can be a lead dog for a year or two and maybe see if you can get draft stock that way to go be a 4th or 5th rounder. But I mean, think about it, bro. Like right now, it's pretty set that it's going to be Chip and Trey this year. Next year, you're looking down. It's probably going to be Dallin and Evan, who got his first couple touches last week.
Ahead of Dallin.
Yeah, ahead of Dallin. Well, they're going to try to redshirt Dallin.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. No. So they're going to try to redshirt him this year. They wanted to redshirt him last year to make sure he has that extra year of eligibility if he needs it, and he'll plan about four games this year.
Okay, that's good to see because coming into the season, I mean anyone that's familiar with this channel knows that we have two people on the Buckeye
Down
BS
love.
that think that Dallin is RB1 on this team. So to know that, like, I mean, you have to really be on board to and locked in with the university to be like, yeah, I see your vision. I'm ready to sit for one season. I will do what I need to do and stay ready if my number's called. But for the most part, I'm preparing to redshirt, and I'm okay with the plan that this university has put in front of me.
Yeah, it's almost like the years got flipped for Dallin. Like Dallin's freshman year should have like this year should have been the year where he got the touches, but he ended up getting a lot of touches last year, and then I think he's going to redshirt this year, and then he'll probably be lead back or rotate with Evan Pryor next year. Is kind of my guess if I had to. But
Yeah.
really, mine would have been in a good place. But people don't realize, bro, Chip is an alien, man. Chip ran a 4.38 at Ohio State's pro day.
That's insane. I know he
At
was on
2
that freaks list
Yeah.
preseason.
Yeah, he's on the athletics freak list. Yeah, he ran a 4.38 at 235. Like he's a freak show, bro. Like
They had him in the linebacker room, and they're like, way too fast.
they had him in a linebacker room and said, "Hey, do you want to return kicks?" Tapped him on the shoulder, "Hey, bud, do you want to return kicks?" Like
Oh,
he's an absolute freak show. He clocked in at over like 22.8 miles per hour, like on a GPS during a practice at Ohio State. Like he's legit, bro. I'm telling you, bro. That Akron garden hose water has whatever that shit is that they put in the soup, the vibranium or what's that shit they put in with the boys?
Chemical X.
Yeah, that
That's what they use to make the Powerpuff Girls.
bro, compound V or some shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's the boys, bro. That like the Akron garden hose water has something in it, bro. Only on one side of town, bro. If you drink the garden hose water, you either become a crackhead or you become a genetic freak who can do all things. And now Ohio State has, or now Akron has two of them, LeBron and Chip, and Paris too. Paris was drinking on that water too. There was no reason he should have been moving that fast.
Big Chris Drew too. Don't forget it.
Yeah, I don't know if it really worked on me. I don't know if I drank enough. I don't know what happened. My mom,
Flex your state. You got state records in athletics, bro.
I do on the rugby side. I was a dog. I will say that I was a dog.
That's too funny. You talked about the kick return game, bro. They had Chip back there returning kicks. I swear anyone that signed up before the game was allowed to return kicks last year, but now it's only Emeka and XJ. We see Jaden Ballard get in at the end of the game last week and return punts, and he was getting loose. What are
Getting
we
loose,
doing? What are we doing? Why do we not
getting
have the
loose.
fastest guy on the team returning kicks?
Bro, he takes 3 steps and he eats up like 25 yards, bro. I'm watching this man like, hey, yo, that should be the man. Bro, do you remember it at USC when Heldon's last year, there was a couple years ago, when they had someone like some random dude, not even a student of the university, snuck into practice and was returning punts for 2 practices before someone realized that he didn't go to school, he wasn't a player. That's
Was
what
he
I feel
going
like
crazy?
nah, he wasn't going crazy. He muffed one, and then, but he did hit a little move on one. But they were like, "Who is number 13? He does not go to school
Who's
here."
mans?
Yeah, who is that, coach? I don't have him on my roster. But he like snuck into the locker room, like got gear, and was out there returning punts for like 2 days before anybody realized what the fuck was
Bro,
going on. That's what I felt like our Ohio State, how they chose our returner. That's how I feel like that went, because for some reason last year, I mean, Breed Scottsdale was the backup punt returner. It's like, whoa, like, bro, are you even on scholarship? Like, why do we not have a scholarship player wanting to return punts? And now, finally, they put Ballard back there. He looks a little twitched up, and that's a way to manufacture the fastest player on your team touches and not having to worry about, giving Emeka Egbuka, like you said, 4 extra hits on his body every game.
it doesn't make any sense, bro. Parker Fleming's a goof for that, man. I hope he's able to settle in on someone faster there. I watch games every weekend, and it seems like special teams are able to flip the game so much in a positive way for other teams. The energy that it gives the offense coming back on the field when there's a big return, just the hype on the sidelines, and it's just like so ho hum with them. Like it's just like whatever. Like I caught it. No one fumbled. Ryan Day is heads down looking at the play sheet. Everyone's walking off the field. It's like, bro, where's the energy? Where's the juice? It's missing from the special teams. And I feel like that's something that we could add to the game. Like, we're talking about missing possessions. Like, we could also get us off the field a little fucking faster. Better field position. Like, what are we
Mhm.
doing? Like, it's a lot easier to score if there's 20 less yards on the drive.
Exactly, bro. I was telling Zach that like in the NFL, we just saw like someone return a punt for a game winner, like week 1. It's like, damn, like that's incredible. We saw in the Super Bowl, Kadarius Toney return that punt back down to like the 5 or 6 yard line, and then Kansas City ended up going to win the game. It's like, damn, these are guys at the highest level where there's no talent gap housing punts. Nigga, you're telling me with the biggest talent gap in all of sports, we can't return one punt against Western Kentucky, Youngstown State, or Indiana? Like, it doesn't make any sense, bro. And I'm watching other guys return punts. Like shit, bro. I watched a white guy return a kick against us, and we can't have one and ever.
And it's not, I don't even know if it's so much the returner that's being chosen. Like, bro, I watched some of those Zach Branch returns look like he's fucking Moses out there, bro. The
Yeah,
sea
bro.
just parts and he just runs a sprint straight through it. And it's like, why can't we get a hat on a hat and push people out of the way? Again, like you said, the talent disparity. Like, you're telling me we can't against Youngstown State, Indiana, or Western Kentucky put 10 people on the field that can move everyone out of the way other than the kicker, and then ask one of our athletes to be the kicker in open space? Like, it just doesn't make sense how these guys aren't able to be more productive on special teams.
Yeah, and again, we get the best athletes, and then won't let the best athletes go return punts.
I mean, we let Chip.
Do we then let Chip return a punt with them return a kick? But then we put him off kick return after like 3 games because we needed a running back.
Yeah, well, you're the actual starting running back now. Sorry, you can't do this anymore. But if you're
Yeah.
Emeka Ibuka, starting slot receiver, and projected first round pick, you go back there and get hit 6 times this game.
Like, why not let Evan Pryor return kicks, bro?
Even if you're not going to do it regularly in games that matter, you just want Emeka back there to make sure no one must have punt. Fine. Why is he getting tackled? How many times do you think he got tackled between Western Kentucky, Indiana, and Western Michigan
Bro,
returning punts?
it's like an extra 20 hits on the body, bro.
Why?
Like,
For
for
what
what?
reason?
And also, like, I love Emeka. I think he's a good receiver, but bro is not twitched up at all. Bro has 0 twitch.
It felt like he did, like he almost was about to do it a couple times last year, but like now it looks like he's making a business decision every time he's catching it. He's not catching it with like bad intentions to go take this back to the house. He's like, I'm
Mhm.
trying to make sure I don't fumble this and that I can run back out there on first down after I get hit here.
I'm damn near ready to put a cornerback there because I know corners, when they get the ball in their hands, they do everything they can to score. It's like, you got to go. You got to get it out the mud.
Hear me out. Cam
Joe,
Martinez.
oh, honestly, yeah. Like, that's who it should be. It should be Cameron Martinez. I mean, he's not going to play any other position here. Like, he literally was a return specialist, has good vision. I mean, we saw when he got his hands on the football when he had the interception 2 years ago, he housed it for a pick 6. He's got good vision and feel for it. It's like, damn, Cam Martinez should be back there. And there's like a whole 20-minute highlight tape of him just housing punts. Like, damn, bro, like, have him be the returner. I mean, if you want to get him on the field, you want to give him level, the number 3, like he's a baller, make him go fucking do something.
Earn it, Brett, man. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't have the word special teams even on our show notes, and we just smacked a whole second, a whole
I'm
segment.
just saying how look, when it comes to legalized robbery, Parker Fleming's the very best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you live in Ohio, call your state representatives and let them know Parker Fleming is stealing money at the Ohio State
Mhm.
University. But before we end up firing a coach, I'm going to move on to what we came here to talk about: the Ohio State passing game. We know the weapons that they have. We know about Kyle McCord. This is going to be his first true test. But I want to ask you, how do these wide receivers for Ohio State match up against these Notre Dame corners? Every podcast I listen to, I hear them, oh, Notre Dame has great corners, and Notre Dame has better corners than Ohio State. And it's like, number one, on every podcast, they know Denzel Burke's name. They say it every single time. I listened to 3 podcasts, bro, and they said the corners are great and didn't even say their names. So, Chris, do you know their names and are they great?
Yeah, I think it's Benjamin Morrison and Cam Hart and I only know them because honestly, the one was on the freaks list. No, I do a little bit of homework. I know about those two corners. I believe the Hart kid, like per PFF, was the highest graded corner they had the last 6 games last year. But Benjamin Morrison is the more famous corner. They're both big physical corners. I know Cam Hart's a little bit more athletic, a little faster, but honestly, I think Marv should get off on him. Like if I'm keeping it a beam. I don't know if you heard yesterday, but he played last year with the entire year with a pretty bad ankle sprain.
Yep, I did see that yesterday.
And honestly, like you can kind of see it. Like the burst he has this year does feel really, really different. Like,
Absolutely, because towards the end of the year, I feel like a lot of people were saying, like, Marv's fast, but like we're not seeing him just run away from people. And like we had heard, like he's clocking all these crazy times, but like I mean, you saw that go that he ran the other day down the seam, and it was like no one's catching that. Like he decided to sprint, and no one knew that he was sprinting, and it was already too late.
facts. And we saw even on the busted coverage, bro, when he clocked the 22.8 miles per hour and did like the little track thing at the end. That would have
Mm-hmm.
been the fastest time, like that was the fastest miles per hour in the NFL this entire season. Like,
2 years.
yeah, and they're damn 2 years. Damn. He
That's
really he really got it
what I'm
out the
saying. And
mud for
Tyreek
him.
Hill was playing football last year.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill really got off last year. So, I mean, he honestly, it's crazy because he is an alien, bro. Like he's the fastest receiver. He's got the best hands. When he wants to run a good route, because he doesn't always want to run a good route, but when he wants to snap somebody off, he'll snap somebody off. The kid is really just an alien. But it'll be interesting because I do think it'll be Cam Hart. Cam Hart is like 6'2", I think 205, was on the freaks list. I think that'll be who Notre Dame feels most comfortable on Marvin Harrison Jr. because they do kind of have similar athletic profiles in terms of like they are the quote unquote freak shows. And then I think they want the cornerback with a little bit more polish on a Emeka Ibuka, who is a good player, but not near the freak that Marv is. Not nearly as fast, but a real good weapon they can get loose. So I know their names, I know they're good corners, but honestly, that's a big advantage for Ohio State, in my opinion.
So another question that I have about this defense is: are they going to be able to create pressure and make Kyle McCord uncomfortable last year? I mean, in the spaces, all we heard was Foskey this, Foskey that, Foskey this, Foskey that, and then at the end of the game, we seen the athletic trainers from Notre Dame picking him out of DeJuan Jones' belly button. So I want to know, like, do they have someone like? I mean, the name that I see is JJB. Every time I turn on a Notre Dame game, I'm like, I know that guy. Like, I see Javante Jean Baptiste getting after it for Notre Dame. Do you think any of the other guys on that line pose a threat for Ohio State, especially because there's still definitely questions about this offensive line? I was watching Zach's film room last night, and there was a couple times where, bro, I've never seen anything like this, and I don't know if it's just because like I'm just starting to dive into watching all 22 more regularly, so I'm seeing these things more on a regular basis. But bro, there's so many times during Zach's film rooms where he's like looking at Josh Simmons, and he's what is he fucking doing?
Yeah, where is he going?
Like he's just spinning around, looking around, whiffing on blocks, and it's just like what is going on here? So, I mean, there's definitely concerns on the offensive line for the Buckeyes. Does Notre Dame have the Jimmies and Joes to really pressure Kyle McCord, or do you think the Buckeyes are going to be able to keep him upright this week?
That's a tough one. It's funny because I think they are going to be able to keep him upright, but I think it's going to be a lot of play action passing we see from him. I think the best way that they can that they'll attack Notre Dame is that they will run power Javante Jean Baptiste's way the entire game. He is a thinner defensive end, and I think they'll just want to flatten him a couple times early and demoralize him. The same way the same way that honestly Paris Johnson would demoralize guys, but Paris Johnson would do it on whatever play they called. I think they're going to try to run his way and kind of try to wash him out and then run some play action and kind of try to get the ball out of Kyle's hands. Not super quick, but moderately quick with all the movement. So I don't think that Notre Dame's going to be able to get a ton of pressure. But with that being said, there's been times, I mean, we saw last week where if Kyle McCord doesn't see what he likes, he does tend to hold onto the ball and not escape the pocket, which led to that forced fumble, that fumble sack last week.
If I like when Kyle double clutches the ball, he does this thing where he just like just checks the ball in his hands, like when he's getting, like when he feels the pressure and doesn't want to throw it. And I'm like, oh man, I know it's not coming out. Like I know he's not going to throw it. And I just have to like put my head down and like pray that we get through the play. It's like, I can't watch this. He's not going to fucking throw it. And it's just like, I hope we see that like continue to work out of his system. And something that I was thinking about last night, that was talked about a lot CJ's sophomore year, his first year starting. Through his first couple games, I don't know if you remember this, there was a ton of talk about, well, one, because CJ was missing high a ton early, and they said that had a lot to do with the nerves and that injury that he had against Oregon in the second game. He hurt his shoulder early, and they said that played into it. But another thing that was talked about a ton, CJ's first year, was his hesitancy to throw over the middle. And people were like, oh, is he scared? Oh, is he not comfortable? But obviously, over the course of CJ's career, we saw him throw the ball over the middle all the time. He was super comfortable doing it. Do you think that's something that we're just going to see start opening up in the offense the further we get into the season? Because I feel like a lot of the thing, like if you look at Kyle's passing charts, not a lot of attempts over the middle and definitely not a lot of completions over the past 3 weeks. Do you think that's something that we see, part of the field that we see Ryan Day try to attack with Kyle? The more that he develops and more comfortable he gets in this offense?
I think they need to. I think having the middle of the field open up is, or being able to throw there opens up everything else. If you can kind of dice that area up, it also feels a little bit too soon, to be honest, because we didn't see CJ do it till like week 7, week 8, his freshman year, start to feel kind of thrown over the middle, and now this is what, week 4. And now you got Notre Dame, and they're gonna, that's an Al Golden and Marcus Freeman defense that's gonna be super, super disciplined. So I am curious to see if he'll be willing to test it early. And I'm not talking about fucking testing it to Kate Stover. I want you to test it to Marv or Emeka over the middle, because honestly, when Emeka's in the middle and has some space, that's where you can kind of make somebody miss and go. So I am curious. I'm not sure it'll be this game. And if it is this game, that would be incredible and really just kind of feed the fire to an Ohio State blowout if he's able to work in every part of the field.
So we've been talking now for 28 minutes, and there's 50-something people in here right now. So make sure you guys smash that like button. But we've been talking for 28 minutes here, Chris, about the Ohio State offense in the past game. And you said Cade Stover's name before we said a third wide receiver. You talked a lot about how Marv and Emeka match up against Notre Dame corners. I feel like one of the reasons why Ohio State has had so much success in the past years is, go ahead, take away Garrett. Go ahead, take away Chris. Meet Jackson Smith-Njigba. Like, our third wide receiver has been a first-round pick for how many years now? Like,
all of them.
You know what I mean? Like, the number 3 wide receiver could be the number 1 at 90% of schools in the country. And while I've been extremely complimentary of Julian Fleming in the run game and the value that he adds there, it just feels like we're missing something dynamic from wide receiver 3. And like in the entirety of Julian Fleming's career, can you recall a Julian Fleming game when you're like, wow, that's a dude. I'd like to see him do that for my team on Sunday. Like, I just don't feel like we've had that game from Julian. Do you think that game exists with inside Julian, or do you think that there's someone better suited to have that type of third wide receiver? Go ahead, scheme up your entire defense to stop the top 2 wide receivers. Wide receiver 3 is just about to have a field day.
I honestly think the Julian Fleming game was the Iowa game last year where he caught that 70-yard bomb. Outside of that, I don't think a Julian Fleming game exists. I think the version of Julian Fleming now is Austin Mack. He's gonna block his ass off. He'll have a couple frustrating drops, um, and he will never give you kind of that NFL glimpse that you're looking for, that you see in the frame. Honestly, it's crazy because like the third best receiver on the team is Carnell Tate, and I'm not sure yet if the staff feels comfortable because they're always super tight when it comes to this kind of thing. Putting the freshman out there, letting him work. Honestly, like I would throw Carnell Tate in the slot sometimes to see what we can get from him. I would throw Marvin in the slot and put Carnell Tate in the X just to kind of open up the offense even more. So, just when you think about like a dynamic passing attack, I think that's what that would be. But right now, Ron, bro, I don't know if our identity is a dynamic passing attack. I think our identity might be a really good run team. And if your identity is a really good run team, guess what? Wide receiver 3 that's a star doesn't exist. Wide receiver 3 that's going to be in there is the one that's going to block a little bit.
So you've hinted a lot about play action being what's used to set up the pass game here for
Yeah.
Kyle. And we were talking about a third wide receiver. You said we might not need one as dynamic with an identity of this current team. But it's like, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, man, what would really add to this offense? A super fast, long, lanky, dynamic wide receiver that could make any play, whether it be a slant or go and take it to the house with, unprecedented speed. Man, if we had someone like that on the roster, what could it do for this offense? Does that ring a bell? Like, do we have anyone like that on the roster?
Yeah, I know that guy, and he also drinks Northeast Ohio garden hose water, and he's got a full leg sleeve, and he's light skinned. So
Is that not the most light skinned thing ever?
yeah, I mean he's light skinned with a leg sleeve and can do a 360 angle between the legs dunk, and he's 6'2". And unprovoked, Chris Olave said, "Oh yeah, the kid's an absolute freak" during his combine interview when nobody brought it up. So I mean, honestly,
Before
bro,
you say his name, he's also the same guy that NFL scouts did not know who the fuck he was, and they saw him at CJ's pro day, and they're looking around like, who the fuck is this guy, and why is he not playing?
yeah, bro, it's like that. It's like that old Vine meme. It was like Spider-Man is out in public. It's like, who the fuck is this nigga?
Who?
Like, who is that? Yeah, that's the man. The man, bro. He's the chosen one, bro. The way he strides is crazy. I honestly think he's the only one on this team that could house a bubble.
Absolutely. And it's just so crazy. I mean, for the people that are still sitting here confused of who we're talking about Jaden Ballard. Like this kid, we hear about what was the mile per hour speed that they said they clocked him at?
They also clocked him at 23
In the
or 20.
highest
No, they clocked him at 24 in a workout this offseason.
and they said what the highest in the NFL in the past 2 years is 22 something.
Yeah, it's like 22.9 or some shit.
So we have a guy with not just track speed, like Olympic track speed out there just dancing in the pre-games. Like
Yeah, bro.
that.
Punk's hating, saying hasn't he been there 9 years, bro? He's the same class as Marv. Shut up.
Exactly, bro. Top 100 recruit. I don't know. When I look at this offense, I feel like one thing that we could always rely on is a third wide receiver that could, if the other two are schemed out of the game, could just be like, I'm a superstar too. I'll be a wide receiver one in the NFL one day. Don't forget it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't feel like we have that. And I feel like Julian adds something extremely important to this offense. I don't want this to be a Julian, like for
Hate
people
bomb.
to
It's
think
not
that this
that,
is like
right?
Julian hate or criticism or anything like that. Julian is doing exactly what is asked of him. He's out there blocking his ass off. He's been huge in the run game. I'm just wondering, are we going to see a situation where we need a third wide receiver to prove that, there's a reason why this is the deepest wide receiver room in the country. There's a reason why so many wide receivers come here and sit and wait their turn for their opportunity. And it's just like, I don't know, is someone going to get that? And is it going to be needed at some point this year by this offense?
Also, like, keep everybody's legs fresh. And I saw in the chat they're saying he can only run a 9, though. That is not true. This boy ran and out and housed it last season.
Or the
Like,
out
he
that we
housed it
see.
out. Like we seen a Mecca or Marv housing out this year? No, they get there, they catch the out route, they take 2 steps and get pushed out of bounds. Bro, Houston out last year. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely, and I mean, we see him get in there with the second string, but like, I just like everyone's like, "Oh, he can only run it. He can only run a 9." Well, fucking go in there and have him run 2 9s a quarter and fucking make the corner sprint the length of the field with Jaden Ballard. Like,
Yeah, no,
bro, go sprint 70 fucking yards and then just step on the sidelines and walk your ass back because that's all we brought you on here to do. Like, go make that corner run a fucking sprint real quick.
exactly. And also, we know he can run more than just the go route because when JSN went down, bro, the first receiver they put in the slot was Jaden Ballard. Would they do that if he could only run a 9? Like if he was only capable of running straight, do you put him in? Like he's got real speed. There's probably a little bit of a toughness issue with him, but I don't give a damn if it keeps
I
everybody's
mean,
legs fresh.
I feel like that's culturally ingrained in him from the
Mhm.
team. I think that might go for the entire team, man.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's just a part of doing business. Hey, look, he's not look, even if he's not a superstar, he's not so much of a liability to where you can't play him at all.
Absolutely.
Like well, I'm not saying he's an every down receiver, but he's not so bad to where it's worth killing Marvin and Mecca's legs because you never want to pull them off the field.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So one thing I had in the notes and kind of I kind of pulled it back a little bit when I started watching the film yesterday. It seemed like the screens were kind of back against Western Kentucky, but it feels like, bro, I felt like last year, every other play was a bubble screen, and I wanted to kick
Mhm.
through my TV. We're not seeing it as much this year, but we are still using the screen game. Do you think we become screen heavier? That seems like the big part of Ryan Day's offense in the past. Do you think that's something that we see more of against Notre Dame? And who should these screens be going to? Because again, like you said, you don't see Marv or Mecca housing an out or a bubble, so it's an obviously a lot of people say it's an extension of the run game and it's just a way to get the ball out onto the edge and mix it up and spread the defense out. Do you think that's something that we see more of this year? Because one of the reasons that I feel like our screen game struggled last year is we couldn't block. We could
Mhm.
not get our wide receivers to get their hands on someone on these screenplays, and they would just die at the line of scrimmage. But we've seen Julian uh, really take to blocking this year and really move people around. So do you think that's something that we see more of this year or this week?
It's funny, bro, because I think last year Ryan Day got baited into a lot of those. I think that teams figured out, okay, if it's a run play and we load the box, they'll count numbers, and CJ Stroud is taught to check to one of those bubbles because it's like a relief play almost. So I think like teams figured out late in the year, oh, if it's this look, just load up. They'll have to throw that weak ass bubble, and those receivers can't block. And that's kind of what forced that to get called over and over and over again. I think this year he's kind of learned his lesson. And also, I don't think, at least at this point, I don't think Kyle has the right to check to anything.
I was
I
just
think,
about to say, does Kyle have the autonomy to check to a bubble at the line of scrimmage, or is he uh, every play just staring at the
yeah,
fucking sidelines like, what do I do?
uh, what is the play? No, I don't think he can check to anything. And honestly, though, like this would be the team that I think could run a bubble. I think honestly, like if you go 11 personnel and you have G Scott out there and you can motion him out to out wide and get him and whoever out there blocking and throw it to whoever the fuck you want, I think is okay. So honestly, I don't think we see many bubbles. The bubbles were goofy last year. I mean, I do like the play, but not if receivers don't block. And I'm bummed that we never got to see one of those like fake bubble goes because remember they ran that with Garrett Christen and JSN. They would set up
Mhm.
the bubble, and then instead of like slipping that block, it was like you just kind of fake the block and then shoot it, and it was always wide open for JSN for 6. So, but I don't think we see bubbles this week.
I've had my show notes over the chat and I just took a peek and man, they got me cracking up in there. Punk said, "Why are you guys out here designing screens for Cade Stover?" And then our guy Cam Thomas said, "Stop trying to get Fade Stover to block DBs." Fade Stover is a crazy nickname, but the fact that Ryan Day be like, "All right, we're in the red zone. We have to scheme everything for Cade."
We have to, bro. It's crazy, bro. They scheme everything to Cade like G Scott's not a better all around tight end. It's
They
disgusting.
they scheme everything for Cade. Like, we don't got fucking Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, bro, you ever
Right.
want to try and call play for him? You ever heard of him?
Yeah, we got this guy. His name is Marvin. Maybe throw him the football. Yeah, bro. We really schemed up that 4th down to fucking Cade Stover. When in doubt, I don't know what it is. When in doubt, Ryan Day schemes it up for Cade.
Bro, scheming our whole offense for an agriculture major. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Um, so someone said in the chat today, I saw it earlier, and it's a topic in our show notes, and I wanted to get to it. Our guy Goj said it. He said the world is going to be put on notice on Saturday, and Kyle is going to have his Heisman moment. So my question is Kyle ready for the moment on Saturday? Because this is his biggest road test. I mean, we've seen him win 3 state championships in high school. So, I mean, the moment relative to where he was in his life wasn't too big for him in high school. Obviously through natural progression, he's now in college. He's now a college quarterback. He's at the Ohio State. The stakes are obviously much higher playing in front of significantly more people. But again, relatively, he's played in big games. Do you think he is ready for this moment on Saturday?
I can't tell if he is like Eli Manning, where even if the moment's big, he doesn't realize how big the moment is, or if he is just like a super cool, calm customer, or if it's just a poker face and he's gonna go out there and look tight. Because honestly, bro, like he looked tight against Akron and against Indiana, and then maybe to start a little bit against Youngstown State, but then kind of loosened up as the game went. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I have this theory about quarterbacks and just players in general that, like, like those people that, like, you get them around a crowd or people that didn't have a girlfriend or never got money and then they get money or they get a girlfriend and like their whole confidence changes, their whole demeanor as a person changes, they become a different person. And not like a different person is like, oh, they changed, it's fake. Like, they have found a level of confidence that allows them to move in a different type of way, whether it's they now finally have a girl, now they have money, they have something that is enabling them to have a different level of confidence. And I've had this theory about Kyle that, like, once this dude knows the team is him, you know what I mean? People are fawning over him on campus. You know what I mean? He's settled in with who he is and he's becoming the man in Columbus. Does that add a level of confidence to him that, like, this is your team, this is your city, everyone's riding with you, you are the man now? Are we on pace for a level up from Kyle as far as confidence now that this is his team, now that he's performing better? Like, it seems like a lot of the heat from the media is off of him after his performance from Western Kentucky. He's being applauded by Buckeye fans. Is there a level up from confidence potentially available for Kyle McCord?
I think the ultimate level up would come once Ryan Day fully believes in him and opens up the playbook. I think
I thought
right
you were
now,
once he flies out an Instagram model, but I get
oh
that too.
yeah. I mean that's the other part of it. That's the not during the season though. That's more of a postseason thing. It gets you a bad bit. But but honestly, bro, I think that yeah, he's starting to feel it a little bit, but also the concern for me at least, what is going to be like, when will Ryan Day have the confidence in him? Like, when will you, instead of giving him the free access hitches and all that, when will you open it up, go 3 wide, no play action, and let the kid go be the gunslinger that you brought him in here to be?
Do you think that that could be longer than what it takes for Kyle to find that confidence? Because I feel like Ryan Day is dealing with his own level of tightness and insecurity right now with the 2 losses to Michigan, no Big Ten championships in the past 2 years. I got asked in a space there, like, if Ryan Day loses to Michigan, like, is he gone? And I'm like, no, we're not hiring a new coach
Mm-mm.
during an athletic department transition. There's no way that's going to be Gene's lasting decision at Ohio State and part of his legacy of naming a new coach. God forbid Ryan Day, where the season were to just go to shit. And they're definitely not asking a new athletic director to hire a new head coach in year one. So I just don't see that happening. So I don't think Ryan Day's job's in jeopardy in any way this year. but I do feel like uh, right. Mike said last night on the show, you'll know whether or not Ohio State is going to win on Saturday by Ryan Day's demeanor pregame.
Oh,
If
it's a
he
skull
looks
session.
if he looks like he has if he looks like he has lemon booty and he's tight and he's not ready to go out there and call the game that he needs to and have confidence in his players and exude the confidence that his players need to see to be fired up to play, I think that'll show on the field. But like we were getting texts and calls last Saturday, like Ryan Day just went fucking crazy during the skull session. Like it's like we're about to go fuck someone up. Like you can just see the energy from Ryan. And is Ryan Day able to bring that energy week in and week out and motivate this team and get them fired up and be the leader that they need and show that confidence? Because there's plenty of times where we see Ryan Day on the sidelines looking down, looking flustered. You need to see the cheeks start to get red. Like you can tell when Ryan Day is not having a good time over there on that sideline. So do you think we get to see cautious Ryan Day on Saturday, or like when he comes out at halftime of the Michigan game and calls 3 straight runs? Or do you think that we're going to see Georgia Ryan Day where he's screaming on the sidelines, throwing clipboard? Those are my favorite pictures of Ryan Day when I'm looking for pictures for the graphics and stuff, and I see Ryan Day just exuding emotion, because like we've seen it before, but it's just like so wishy-washy. You never know what you're going to get with him. So what type of Ryan Day do you think we're going to get? We're not going to have the skull session. We're not going to be sleeping in our own beds on
Facts.
Saturday. We're not going to have that natural hype of the Columbus energy around them. Is Ryan Day able to manufacture that energy in South Bend and able to get this team fired up and ready to go on Saturday?
I haven't seen it yet from him, right? Like I have not seen fired up Ryan Day when they're the favorites. I only ever see it when they're the underdogs. I feel like he's got to like find something in him like the players do. Like just go find someone that disrespects you nonstop. Like just like he's like he doesn't have that extra chip on his shoulder. So I think when they play games and they are the favorites, he gets really really tight, bro. Like both Michigan games, we could have blew both teams out, but it was really really tight for him. Like things were really really tight.
Well, you know why he doesn't have that? Because everyone kisses his ass and is afraid to
Fact.
criticize him. Like Ryan Day is like, that scene in Home Alone where they sneak into the hotel room and Kevin starts playing the mobster and all the hotel workers start acting pussy. Like that's a Ryan Day press conference. Like, oh, Mr. Day, you're the greatest. Like
Hmm.
you've never heard a scathing piece about Ryan Day. No one criticizes him. Like the only person to really criticize Ryan Day that I can think of publicly was Dabo Sweeney.
Oh
And that
yeah,
nigga's still in the fucking grave, bro. Like
yeah,
he ain't
bro.
never bounced back, bro. Talk crazy about Ryan Day, told him that he shouldn't be in there. And Ryan Day came out there and smacked that motherfucker in the mouth. He don't got his DC no more. They ain't stealing calls no more. Like everything's changed at Clemson. Disrespect Ryan Day in the media, please. Like I'm asking you, everyone, anyone.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman's been real respectful though.
Maybe he's angling for a job.
Hey, yeah, we gotta deep fake that, bro, and be like, hey, fuck that nigga Ryan Day from Marcus Freeman.
We got a super chat from our guy Alpha Male, and that was in our notes, and I missed it. He said, "Will we hear Xavier Johnson's name called on Saturday?" So I want to tweak that question just a little bit. Who takes more snaps on Saturday, Carnell Tate or XJ?
Mm, definitely. I was gonna say definitely Carnell, but I think XJ has the trust in the big, big moments. I mean, last year it was XJ when Jason went down, went in the slot and caught a touchdown pass to kind of seal the deal.
And
So
we saw XJ play in the Georgia game.
yeah, he's got the trust. It'll probably be XJ,
Yeah, I
even though I
think.
think Carnell Tate's a far better player.
Do you think we hear XJ's name called? He may be more likely to play than Carnell. Do you think he's able to get involved in the action on Saturday?
Yes, I think they scheme something nasty up.
That'll be interesting. I feel like if we're scheming stuff up from XJ, we're really getting deep in the bag of tricks, and I don't know if I want us to have to do that.
Yeah, you're right. I know Ryan likes that kind of like out of the backfield threat, like in the throw game. So
Yeah.
and they're kind of hesitant a little bit to throw to our guy Trey. So I'll see if I'm curious to see if they do use XJ.
I got to get your thoughts on this, bro, because I don't know if you watch this game or not, but like, we don't really run too many trick plays at Ohio State. We definitely usually don't do it against scrub teams. We saw JJ fucking McCarthy throw a fucking oh my god, what the fuck is the type of play? I
A
wanted to call
flea
it a Statue
flicker?
of Liberty flea flicker. Yeah, I was like, we saw him throw a fucking flea flicker against Bowling Green, and he skipped the pass. The pass was so bad it skipped off of the defender's face mask for a touchdown to his own receiver. What are we doing? Like, what are they doing running a flea flicker against Bowling Green? Are they trying that hard to run up his stats? Like, oh, can't have him actually pass for touchdowns, or he's going to throw 3 picks in a game. So let's scheme up a flea flicker so we can try to keep this fake Heisman campaign alive.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I think that they are trying to make the offense fun and easy for JJ, and that situation where it's just one read and just toss that thing the fuck up. It's disgusting what they do, but at least they're having fun a little bit. I mean, our team doesn't believe in running any kind of trick plays, but yeah, running the flea flicker. It's funny because they ran the flea flicker and it didn't work. Like for as heavy of a run team as Michigan is, that flea flicker bullshit was not happening, bro. Because usually you get somebody wide open is what it should have been. Should have been an easy access touchdown, but
He's
um,
blanketed.
it was he was absolutely blanketed, bro. They were not tapped in at all. They were not
So,
going for it.
um, so I have one more super chat before we get out of here from our guy Leonardo Spaces OG. Keep up the good work, my guys, and roll tide, or as Chris would say, parole tide.
Parole tied.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I had big hopes for Alabama this year, man. We saw them. We had players getting arrested last year. I seen that kid get pulled over with a 5-pack and was like, oh shit, bro, national championship on the way for Alabama. Like, bro, touchdown in Tuscaloosa, found the plug and hit the road. I was like, man, natty season for Alabama. So to see them struggle after a player getting arrested in the offseason, man, I had high hopes for them, man. I thought they had big things coming, but they do have Jalen Milroe starting again this week against Ole Miss. I see Tommy Reese got put in his place. Like,
Yeah,
no,
they were
buddy.
calling him Jalen Mildew on the timeline. I couldn't believe it.
One quick question before we get out of here, and it's not even Buckeye related. I have to ask you here because it's 4 days before we get to talk national football on on a platform. What kind of mistake did Tyler Buckner make, doubling down and committing his whole career to Tommy Reese?
Bro, Tyler Buckner has to be the biggest goofball in the transfer portal era. Like, think about this, bro. So, I told you a little bit before the show. So, Tommy Reese was at Notre Dame. Sam Hartman starts to tell people in his circle before he gets in the portal, hey, I'm going to hit the portal. 2 schools reach out and are the most aggressive: Bama, Notre Dame. Tommy Reese manages, because he doesn't like Tyler Buckner, gets Sam Hartman to commit to Notre Dame. And then Tommy Reese hits the road to go to Bama. So literally, bro, like, he brought the new wife in to live with the old wife, and then he split for a whole new wife. He goes to Bama. He looks around. He's like, damn, maybe I need a Tyler Buckner in my life. Goes, calls Tyler Buckner, who he just brought someone in to make sure bro was on the bench. Calls Buckner. Buckner says, fuck it, I'll go down there. Goes down there just to lose the job again.
Twice. He
At
lost
Bama.
it. He lost it going into week 1, and then
Yeah.
lost it after playing for one. Bro, I couldn't believe the drive summaries that I was seeing. I just kept seeing a graphic get longer. Punt, 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 punt. Just so bad.
Right. All that P is like the PPP loan. Like, damn, nigga.
Bro was trying to level up. He saw people getting money in the offseason. He was like, I need to bring these PPPs back. Punt, punt, punt.
That's what I'm saying. The PPP loan, Tyler Buckner, and I thought he was going to go down there and end racism. I thought he was going to go down there and end Asian American hate, and it has not been like that. I'm just glad it hasn't gotten real racist on the timeline, at least from what I've seen.
Thank God. I think that they're too embarrassed to even show their face to get out on the timeline and be racist.
Facts. I'm sure the Bama Facebook world's going crazy right now.
Has to be, bro. I can only imagine what some of these other teams' Facebooks look like because, bro, I'll have women in their 70s yelling at me like, "Your takes fucking suck." I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Granny.
Expose your grandson.
Well,
That's
on that
phenomenal.
note, we
No,
got
hit her with this, Ron. Just reply back with this.
really scared. But man, we appreciate all of you. There are 65 people in here, man. Big Chris Drew brings out the viewers. Before we get out of here, make sure you guys smash that like button. We appreciate you guys for pulling up today. And if you didn't get enough of us here, we are going to be live on the Bleacher Report app today at 3 p.m. Me and Chris Drew are talking about why Ohio State's going to get a dub on Saturday. So make sure you download the Bleacher Report app and make sure you tap in with us today at 3 p.m. We have one more episode of the Buckeye Roast tomorrow. We have the college football pregame show on Saturday. Flagship Buckeye BS on Sunday at 10 a.m. with me, Mike, Cam, and Q. And then on Saturday, man, we are Best Damn Media is all over the place for instant reaction. Me and Big Chris Drew will be on Bleacher Report at, I think, around 10:30, I think, is when we're estimating the game should be over. So tap in right on the Bleacher Report app instantly after the game. And then right after that, we will be live on Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, the Ohio State channel. We'll be doing another reaction over there. So tons of content coming out from Best Damn Media and Dogs Film Room on Friday. So we just have a ton of stuff coming out. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't liked the video, like our guy Leonardo said, there needs to be 65 likes on this video. There's 65 people in here. Chris Drew, aside from Bleacher Report, I think you got one more show in between them.
Hey, hold up, bro. Yeah, I do, but y'all already know about that. But hey, CF Punk said Notre Dame money line. Forget a money line, forget an app. Hit my DMs, man.
You know where to find Chris Drew. If you want to find me,
you
can find me. You can find me on Twitter at 2Ts2_TEES. That's 2Ts. You can find me on Twitch at the same thing. You can find me on TikTok at 2Shiesty. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. We appreciate you guys pulling up this morning for the Buckeye Roast. Have a good morning and OH.
I better see you on a Menace gang. I better see you on a Menace chat later today.
My hometown.